Okay, so you've sized up the job, given your customer a price, and son of a bitch, they approved it. Well, now you have to follow through and get the stuff that will make your idea work and put money in your wallet. I'm Jeff Moss, and along with Tim Coleman and Tyler J. Thomas, we'll try to help you find those parts you're looking for. This is the Three Tumblers. So when you need a part, you need a part. But how far are you willing to go to get it? Having a distributor in your area is great, not just for getting parts locally, quickly, but chances are they know the hardware in the area and they might know your actual customer. So, having local distributors is obviously great, but if they're friends with your competitors, you don't want to give too much information. You don't want them going directly to your customer, selling directly to an institution or something. But it's good to have stuff locally to avoid shipping, like what for wire and things like that. You can pick it up. If you need something in a pinch, you can get it the same day in many cases. Having a face to a name when you need something, and knowing who the person actually is versus just, on a phone 1,000 miles away, I think is big. Personal connection. Sometimes they even bring you gifts. So I think that's important to have something in your back pocket, even just a good hardware store for fasteners and tools and things like that. Guys, do you have distributors near you? I know we don't have anybody that's strictly local. We have some branches. There used to be some local independent ones, but that's all pretty much gone.
Well, we have we are lucky, and we have warehouses for Banner, Southern Lock, and Annixter, all local. And God rest their souls, we had US Lock, and the folks at the US Lock warehouse were awesome. But unfortunately, that's not available to locksmiths anymore. But yeah, we do have our local reps and reps for our distributors and our manufacturers are all, within 20-25 minutes of the shop. And it's really, really nice to be able to go on to a distributor, site and find the parts that you need and see, oh, hey, they have 107 of these in Charlotte, or they have 5 of these in Charlotte. I might need 7, but at least I can get 5 right now, whatever it is.
Yeah. And one of the alarm distributors, and I've not seen anybody else do this, and I could be wrong, but they have a pickup anytime room. So if you order it, they'll put it in a room and you have a code and you can come get your stuff after work, before they open, whatever the case. I know one of the electrical supply houses was doing like those Amazon pickup boxes outside where they put your stuff into a little thing. But this is actually, they have a separate entrance into the place and they leave your stuff. So you're also not out in the cold or anything. But it definitely helps to, when you need something and you can't get there between 8 and 5 or whatever their hours are. And Tyler, I don't know that, I think you used to have some distributors near you. Am I correct that you don't have anybody?
I think what you're thinking of is Southern Lock that was across the highway a few years ago. They have left. In that same business park, though, was an Annixter. Is it called Wesco now? I don't know. We don't use them. Okay. So they've got a little location there. About 5 minutes from that is an IDN distributor facility. And then up north, probably 10 minutes is a Wesco for data and cabling. And then up another 30 minutes was originally a Clark and then an Annixer. And now I guess a Wesco, a massive facility that does locks, cylinders, exit devices, all door hardware, plus data and cabling.
Yeah. And you don't use any of those companies, right?
Not unless it's an emergency. I mean, we had to go to IDN a few weeks ago for some dummy cylinders, but that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And Annixter's model and Wesco too, they've had sales offices, but only, they don't stock any product locally. Everything's in a warehouse, like a hub situation. So, Cleveland Annixter has never had any product, but they've always had salespeople. Like we have Gray Bar, they have a huge warehouse. And then we have our local electrical supply houses that have, 9 branches within Northeast Ohio. But that's not, for the daily stuff that we use. Like you said, there's IDN, and they're a half hour away from us. And although we do ship a lot from their other locations, it just depends. The place we get a lot of our car keys from is about an hour away. They came and brought us donuts. So, yeah. And when you have, so Tim, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's always nice to have local reps, both for distributor and manufacturer, because they will bring you gifts, or at the very least, they will take you to lunch.
Yeah. Well, you at least get to leave the shop.
I do, except for yesterday.
Right. So, and then another thing, that I haven't done this personally myself, but I know that you can try, and it's been done, is to have them price match. If one company that you'd rather give them the business, ask if they'll match the sale price from company B, if you have a better relationship with them. And a lot of times they can do it. They can override pricing, and then you can get all your stuff from one place, and get it quicker. They can't always do it, but I would think that most companies would try to help out a good customer. I know we'll do that for some of our, not necessarily price matching, but we'll, give a break if he's buying a whole bunch of something. And, people do remember that. So have either of you done this price matching, try to get them to compete with each other a little bit?
I haven't, and I never thought to consider to ask that, but I might going forward. I didn't realize that's a possibility. I'm kind of embarrassed, but apparently it is. And yeah, it makes sense. Walmart does it, so why wouldn't they?
Yeah. And I know you don't buy as much from distributors as you do direct, probably, but yeah, it certainly, you can't, people come in every day, ask for a discount for one thing or the other. The worst you can say is no, which 99% of the time, sorry, we don't give a senior citizen, retired, veteran, disabled, bought 4 keys discount. Yes, people want a discount for buying 4 keys, and I guess it doesn't hurt to ask. So, Tim, what about you?
Yeah, we something I learned from Jason is the knowing your distributors, your distributor reps. If you need not just like a one-off quantity, like if you only need one of something, you're not going to get it. But if you need like 4 or 5 of something that's, list price is, let's say $500, or not list price is like $1,000. You're going to have, between distributors, you're going to have about $100 or so difference in, our price. And he has actually sent emails to the reps at the same time, so they're all on the same email, and say, hey, so and so has this for this price, can you do this? Or basically just say, hey, this is what this person has, they've got it in stock, this is what this person has, they have it in stock too, what can you do for me? And sometimes he'll be able to get good pricing. We'll be able to get decent availability and pricing and support on products.
All right. Well, like I said, a little bit of competition can be a good thing, but are there things better than that? Tyler has some thoughts up next.
Recently, I had what Tim calls a size up, and that turned into a quote. And when that quote was approved, I needed hundreds of cylinders. Now, do you really think I was going to pay a price that's only a few bucks off of list? Hell no. Was I going to pay half off of list? Hell no. I was going to go straight to the manufacturer to get a bulk discount. Now, I mean, I was already buying from the manufacturer to begin with, but our situation, I'll just tell you, with Medico is 55 off of list, so 55% off of list. When you get into these big jobs, if the job is large enough, you can not appeal, but reach out to your sales rep and say, hey, can you give me any sort of bulk discount pricing? I know I beat the shit out of this topic on multiple episodes, but it bears repeating because they can and often do give you those larger discounts. Sometimes it's, with Medico, I'll be frank, 62.5. I've seen it go as high as 69% off of list, depending on the quantity.
Nice.
Is there a job too small to get that? I haven't found it. Is there one big enough? Well, all of them are big enough. Big is different to different people. I wouldn't try to get a bulk discount on anything under 100. I think 100 would be bare minimum threshold. But I'd say anything over 100 is a good opportunity to reach out to the sales agent or sales rep, no matter the manufacturer or the distributor. Even distributors give them as well, and kind of go from there. Obviously, the higher the quantity, the better pricing you're going to get. Jeff, you have any experience, or does your shop have any experience with, negotiating or at least getting sort of these bulk discount quotes?
Probably. I mean, nothing that I've experienced. I know that from working at the hardware store, when they have their trade shows, they have pallet deals all the time, and you get you buy a skid of windshield washer fluid and you get a pretty decent price each, but then you're stuck with a bunch of product. So it doesn't always, sometimes they'll buy something because it looks good on paper, but then it takes you 2 or 3 years to sell all of it. So, they offer good pricing or they offer special terms. I don't do the direct buying. I just write up, this is what I need to buy. Unless it's something small like cabinet keys, I can go on and place the order myself. So, I'm sure it exists because we are direct with some companies, so we're able to buy enough that it.
Yeah, I just kind of fell back, I guess, on what I'm used to with buying direct, specifically from Medico and Arrow and stuff like that. But I have reached out to distributors for bulk discount quotes and pricing as well, and they do that. Kind of what you hinted on in the last segment, that they're flexible in pricing, not necessarily matching, but if you're moving 200, 300, 500 units of something, they're going to take that off of list because obviously they're paying less than what you are. They got to make a profit and make some money to stay in business. But yeah, distributors are another target for this. Tim, any experience?
Yeah. Actually, a few months ago, had a corporate building. It was okay. So our shop is located near Mooresville, North Carolina, which is capital to NASCAR. And there was a specific race car company that moved into a renovated building, and their layout, they wanted to have hold open door closers. I went through and I quoted, did a walkthrough and everything like we've talked about before, made sure that the doors were not fire labeled doors, and quoted them for, I think, a grand total of like 35 hold open closers throughout the building. And we went to Allegion because the existing closers were like Taco or just Tell or some other contractor grade brand. I'm not going to, even though it may work, I'm not going to order an LCN, hold open arm for those products. I'm going to swap the whole thing out. Anyway, we were able to get manufacturer pricing on, like, I think the grand total was between 30 and 35 closers. So yeah, I mean, I've got experience on it. 35 closers compared to some jobs that are 135. I know it's not that big, but we know our rep, and I think that really played into it.
Yeah, we just quoted a job, came in, it was like 18 apartment buildings, 2 doors each that need to be hardware changed for like their boiler rooms. Well, now it's 27 buildings, 2 doors each. My coworker quoted it 57, 130 hours of labor or something ridiculous like that. And, it's, 100 locks or whatever it is, but it's, that's a lot of work, 3 hours per building, plus all the time in between. So, there's a lot involved.
That makes me think of another point. A lot of these, especially Allegion and Medico, they do offer direct buy-in programs, but oftentimes it either requires a contract or a set amount. So if you have an opportunity to quote, X number of dollars, I don't know what it is for either of them, but that could be an opportunity to establish and codify that direct buy-in or that relationship. 35 closers, 135 closers, 500 cylinders, whatever it may be. It's worth reaching out and saying, hey, I've got a lot of stuff of yours I want to sell. Is this enough to qualify for any of your direct buy programs? And then who knows? Now you're buying direct, and then you do that with the next manufacturer, and now you're buying from 4 or 5 different manufacturers direct.
Yeah. And there are some that, we won't sell to locksmiths. Well, there's ways to work around that. I'll discuss that offline.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options with distributors and manufacturers. I wish that we did have access to our one of our manufactured reps. Apparently only one of our competitors has access to them, but I will discuss that offline as well.
Why don't you just discuss it here, and Tim will bleep it out, and it'll just be a minute of bleep.
Okay, I will bleep it. The rep has or did have an office in the shop, and
I thought it was only.
Well, it is. I guess so. Anyway, he had an office in the shop, and finally, when he got called out on it by other people, he finally had to move. But he is one office suite down in the same business park. Needless to say, we see none of him. There's also the other rep for, I'll bleep this out. He doesn't come around at all. And we met the new rep for this area from back in February at the trade show, and he said, yes, I'll be at your shop. We haven't seen him yet. Haven't heard anything, nothing. And Jason and I both gave him our cards.
All right, gentlemen. Well, some very good points were raised there. Up next, what do you do if none of your regular sources has what you need? Tim is up next to explain some of this alternative sourcing.
When you gotta have that part, you gotta have that part. At the shop I work for, we are known for having the ability to make good on our quoting promises. Reason being, we find whatever we think will be the best to accomplish the goals of the customer, even if we have to buy it retail. When it comes to custom jobs, and probably 40% of every job that we do, 40% of all the jobs that we do are custom. And in order to accomplish that, we have to figure out what the hell can make it work. Sometimes whatever we feel can make it work is not a product that is carried by our distributors. So we have to look on places like Amazon, eBay, random websites, or even go to other locksmiths just to make stuff work. Jeff, have you ever had to go to Amazon or eBay to get a part to make something work for a customer?
Yeah. One example is Harley Davidson saddlebag locks. They're tubular. They're a real pain to take apart, but you can get a whole new thing. The dealer doesn't even have them. And we have one of the biggest, oldest Harley dealers around the corner from us. So Amazon, you can get 2 locks for the price of a lunch at McDonald's, basically. And sometimes weird discontinued stuff I've bought on eBay, more so for myself, because I don't want to sell something if I don't know that it's brand new and has all the stuff. There are certain things that we purchase from all other sources, but not a lot of items. Pretty much everything is either direct or through wholesale distribution. But sometimes, like I said, if you need it and the only other option would be to buy 12 of them, well, if you can go online and get it and have it there tomorrow, then that's going to be, Amazon has a distribution network that is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
what
I mean, we can get stuff through Amazon pretty quick. We don't order a whole lot through Amazon, but stuff like, I don't know, like fence gates, locks for them, some random, like really random furniture lock or something, little magnetic locks, or actually the biggest part that we get through Amazon is a child safety door blocker, and it mounts to the frame, and you have to physically pull it towards you and then swing it around in order to allow the door to swing open. And those are actually pretty popular with us. We've ordered and installed a number of them. They can be released without a key in the event of an emergency, but it's, we mount them high enough to where a toddler can't pull them open. Tyler, recently my shop ordered some stuff from you. Have you ever had to order parts from another locksmith?
Yeah, that's actually a good segue, because I was going to bring that up as far as alternative sources. Yeah, we reach out a lot to companies we've had working relationships for in the past. A few months ago, I had somebody reach out to me and say, hey, look, we're very low on some sergeant degree pins. We've got a big job coming up. Do you have anything that you can send us? Yeah, send them that. Last week, somebody was looking for some best A4 pins, and I sent about 800 of those. So we've got a network. I'm always trying to grow it, building relationships, networking, and learning who has what and maybe who can help us out, because that's their forte. But yes, certainly eBay's number 1, Amazon number 2, but other locksmiths number 3 for us as far as sourcing beyond manufacturer, distributor.
Something that you may or may not know is that distributors buy from other distributors.
Yep.
And I've called the 3-letter distributor, and they said, well, we don't have it, but the 7-letter distributor does. So just order it from them. So, it depends. And that's part of a good relationship. And, there are some distributor salespeople that my colleagues have worked at other places. So they've known, Joe for 35 years, and whatever they need, he'll make it happen, because they used to work with him or whatever. But yeah, I get a lot of stuff on eBay just for my own personal use. And I've brought key blanks in from home if it's something that, customer only needs one and it's going to take a week to get them. And I have it sitting here, some weird antique cylinder or whatever, like it's not really doing me any good. So the customer wants it and we'll make it happen. And they don't have to wait. And
Yeah, I've actually done that with safe lock keypads, electronic safe locks. I've got, now a small but decent collection of electronic safe lock keypads. And when one of those goes, I can come home and grab, whatever one I need and go try it. At least it saves me from, having to source out somebody else either completely for the job or me making a complete hash of the job, because I'm still, learning how to drill safes and stuff. But, another thing that we deal with a lot in our shop is high-end residential. So that's the MTech or Baldwin hardware?
I don't rightly know how you do that.
Well, I'm gonna explain to you how we do that. Whenever we have a customer who wants new MTech or Baldwin hardware, my go-to response is, hey, take pictures and contact MTech directly. Just buy it from them directly, because basically, as a locksmith, if we try to order through a distributor, we're going to wait on, the lead time. It's going to get marked up by the distributor, and then we're going to have to mark it up even more. So we're saving the customers money on it. Also, if we go through all that trouble and buy, let's say we buy a handle set for $600, our cost, and then the customer backs out at the last minute and says, oh no, I'm not worried about it anymore, then we have this basically completely custom handle set sitting on our shelf collecting dust. So I always tell our customers for MTech and Baldwin, contact them directly. Whenever they ship you that big, huge box, call us and we'll come out and install it for you.
See, I didn't know that they would sell direct. I figured they would tell them to go to we have a lot of, some high-end decorative hardware places around here.
No, MTech will sell direct to the end customer. And the benefit that you get as a locksmith, if the customer buys direct from MTech, if there's any issue with, say the finish on it, let's say that it starts flaking or fading or deteriorating in any other way within, I don't know, like 6 months or a year or so, then you can tell your customers, hey, you bought that direct from MTech, call them and have them warranty it.
Right.
And they can look the customer's name up and say, oh, yes, we did sell that to you. And, oh, shit, yeah, that does look like hell. Let's send you a new one.
Right. And we, again, we'll install customer supplied hardware with no warranty or anything.
Right. Tyler, did when you were doing residential stuff, did you ever have customers order hardware and then just install it like I was talking about, or anything similar to that?
Yeah, I don't know what the situation is now, but it used to be Baldwin would have nothing to do with locksmiths, and so you'd have to go to, like you said, like a fancy high-end residential showroom where they showed off chandeliers and fixtures and all that stuff, and Baldwin just happened to be one of the brands that they sold. But specifically, anytime a piece broke, like a tailpiece on a deadbolt or anything like that, we couldn't source it, but we would tell them where to get it from, and they could order it. And then when the part showed up, they'd call us and say, hey, it's here, come install it or come fix it for us. And we did it that way. So,
but I think Baldwin will send parts. I know they're pretty good at replacement parts. Maybe it's changed.
Well, I mean, this was back in 08, 09. I don't know if they wanted proof of owners. I don't remember what the situation was, but
yeah,
it was one less thing we had to do, put it on the homeowner to facilitate the delivery, the ordering and all of that. And then just call us when you need us so that we don't have our hands any more involved than it has to be.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And like I was saying, if you, as a locksmith, if you order something, specific to that hardware, Baldwin, MTech, etc., and you get it, and then the customer says they don't answer the phone when you call them, and they don't return your message, they don't reply to your email, you're stuck with whatever money you sunk into that part, and then it's sitting on your shelf collecting dust. You can't sell it.
That's why you always get a deposit on something like that.
Well, that's true. You could do that. Generally I'd save the trouble of trying to collect money up front for something, just by saying, hey, it's on you. You order this, and when it gets here, you call me and I will come and put it on for you.
Now, do you charge any more for installing something that you didn't supply, since you're not making any money on the hardware?
No, we charge the trip charge and our itemized labor on it. Just like we would if we sold the hardware. The labor and the trip charge are the same, regardless of if we sell the hardware or not.
Just a thought.
Yeah. I mean, and some people may do that. But that's the way we are. We standardize it. So, gentlemen,
That's standardized with a Z, not an S, damn it.
I can't help that I use the UK spelling. All right, guys. So, like any other home installer, general contractor, or experienced locksmith, we have a few spare parts left over. Should we share them in the next segment? Maybe, maybe not.
Tyler likes this part of the show better than any of the others. He's probably going to suggest that we do an entire episode of spare parts. So I can give mine because it just happened today. I was volunteering at the fairly new Cleveland Food Bank. They built this nice new facility, and general contractor slash glazing slash hardware guy was there working on the front door, and I was talking to him, and somehow they managed to break several IC housings because they were torquing on the black plastic construction cores. So they sheared the pins off. So I guess the moral of the story is use real construction cores if it's something that's actually going to be used, and B, put your permanent cores in, as soon as the building is turned over, because he had several bars and mullions torn apart, and, I felt bad for him working on a Saturday. So, Tyler?
A lot more lighthearted than that. I found out last night a lot of reporters in the sports world are now reporting that Atlanta is going to be getting another NHL team. It'll be our third, and I stayed up last night following Twitter, refreshing, reading what all these reporters had to say, and I got very, very shit-faced in celebration. So I'm in a very good mood right now.
And I, for one, welcome our new hockey overlords.
Hell yeah, brother! Bring it. We're gonna have a rivalry again with the Carolina Hurricanes, where Tim lives in South Carolina.
So I guess they've acquiesced to popular demand.
That's right. Damn right.
Yep, it'll be the the South Virginia Checkers, I think.
Tim, what's your spare part? Most likely animal related.
No, actually, today not. It's actually a really, really cool story. There were a couple college softball teams in a game the other day, and Grandview catcher Caitlin Moses smashed the ball deep to left center for a go-ahead grand slam when her team was down 4-1. As she approached second base, she collapsed to the ground, unable to get up and finish rounding the bases to give her team the 5-4 lead. Rules dictate that Moses would have been called out had a Grandview teammate or coach not helped finish her home run trot. However, two players from the opposing team ran up to her, carried her, and helped her step on every base so that every base counted, helping the opposing team win out of good sportsmanship. And I think that's just awesome.
That's pretty cool.
That's why I love sports, man.
I'm just super worked up because my team did stuff.
Atlanta's going to have 3 NHL teams before Cleveland even gets one, so
whatever. It's too nuanced for me. Well, since I'm the technical producer of the show, it's my job to get all the email and Twitter posts for us. So far, that's been a pretty easy job. I'd really like a segment all to myself where I can just read what you guys write to us, sort of like the mailbag on home improvement. But I can't do that without material. So please, write your thoughts on the back of a $20 bill and email it to 3tumblerspod@gmail.com or tag us on Twitter at the number 3tumblerspod. The executive producer is Tyler J. Thomas. Writer and editor is Tim Coleman. I'm your technical producer, Jeff Moss. Our recurring revenue director is Lucinda Bolts. Our director of studio lighting is Chandelier. Our chief legal counsel is Hugh Lewis Dewey of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe, otherwise known to us as Huey Louie Dewey.
I don't know.
Penetrating wood stain.
My name's Jeff. This has been a Three Tumblers production, Season 1, Episode 14. Copyright 2023. All rights reserved. Find this episode and others wherever you get your podcasts. So then why would I say Season 1, Episode what?
Because I fucked up. That's why.
And otherwise no to as Huey Louie doing.
I know. I fucked that up too.
All right. Well, I won it.